Yo, what's going on, CZN fam? I'm Sue, and it's finally here, the first update for Chaos Zero Nightmare, and it was revealed earlier this morning over in a special developer commentary over on the official YouTube channel. There's a lot of things to unpack here, so I don't want to waste like a ton of time and, spend 30 minutes on this video if I could help it, because if that was the case, you probably already would have watched the official live stream. So I want to quickly just give you the highlights and my 2 cents on everything, and also kind of talk about the stuff that was posted over on Stove, because that gives a bit more context as to where we're going, what is actually happening in the next update. So the first update is going to be called Forbidden Catalyst. It is essentially a 9-week event. It is a story-driven event with 3 banners and a couple of new features. The first new character that we're going to be getting is YUKI, who is this girl you see here in the blue jacket. You may have seen her. She's basically Sword Girl Chun-Li with a massive rack. Like, that's just the best way I could describe her. She is going to be the main character for the story for this entire thing. And they also unveiled the next 2 characters that we're going to be getting as well here. So you'll get Yuki in just a few days, and then 3 weeks after that, you'll get Chizuru here on the left. And then, if I could kind of like frame advance it ever so slightly here, you have, what was her name here? Serenial. Serenial will be the character after that. So, essentially a bunch of very, very thick women. Tastefully thick women. So if you're a husbando enjoyer, sorry. But yeah, the next 3 banner characters are going to be these 3 ladies. So that's basically what we're looking at here. They also then went on to describe and show off Yuki here. I'll play a little bit of it so you can kind of see her animations and what her playstyle is all about. I will have a guide for this character roughly within like a day or 2 of her coming out. So if you actually want to know how to play her, make sure you get subscribed to the channel. But essentially, what it boils down to from what they've shown on stream is that she is an AoE striker of the order color. So she's green. And her entire mechanic is based around inspiration. And inspiration appears on one very good card that I play often in the current version of the game, and that is on Leap Strike. Leap Strike is this 1-cost card that deals damage, but it has the inspiration keyword, which is when the card is put into your hand by an effect, whether that's like Cassius's Joker, the neutral card attack, or whenever you draw it due to an effect, it triggers the inspiration ability. And on Leap Strike, that makes the card cost 0 and draw a card, which is very, very powerful. Yuki has cards that essentially say, like, you get extra damage, or the card cost becomes 0, or you get to do, like, other bonus effects. So basically, the entire character is going to revolve around how can I essentially get these inspirations to trigger. Could I like put them on the top of my deck with Nia and then draw them other ways? Can I put them into my hand with Cassius, so on and so forth? So it's basically a lot of deck manipulation is what you're going to want to be playing. I would say that characters like Nia, like Cassius, are going to be the most obvious characters for you to choose and play with right off the bat. But there's obviously going to be, a lot more strategies. For example, characters like Renoa, you can kind of get Flower of Devoured Fate to have draw power built in, which will allow you to synergize with Yuki that way. But overall, that's the general gist of how the character plays. If that's something that appeals to you, then you could absolutely pick her up. Although, I know that most people are not really going to look at the playstyle. They're just going to look at her kind of spilling and wobbling out of her outfit in various different ways and go, yeah, I'm pulling that no matter what. And you know what? Full transparency, I'm right there with you. Hot Sword Girls is my weakness. Anybody who's watched me for Epic 7 knows how I absolutely just melted into a puddle when they unveiled Setsuka, and Yuki is very much the same design. So they also showed off Yuki's partner here, which is going to be Westmacott. So if you're looking to kind of like, I guess, min-max Yuki, this is probably going to end up being the partner that you're going to want to pick up. As you can see, they showed us the abilities on it. Attack cards of the assigned combatant drawn by their abilities have their damage increase. It's not by 50% because this is a maxed out copy. This is 5 copies of it for 1 turn. So that synergizes with inspiration. You want to draw your combatant's cards to trigger their inspiration. So this basically gives you a damage bump if you actually trigger that effect. Damage amount of cards with the assigned combatant's inspiration increases by another amount. So it's very much like Bria with Kairon, where if you do the thing, you just get 2 stacking attack buffs, which is very, very strong. And then Clue Spotted, 3 ego points, move 1 card from hand to draw pile, right? So how that works, right, is it's essentially a way for you to set up the character, right? Let's say you have a very powerful attack that has an inspiration on it, but you can't trigger it. You can use Westmacott's Clue Spotted to put that card from your hand on top of your deck, then play a card to draw it off the top of your deck, trigger the inspiration, and then do big damage, excuse me, or trigger some kind of combo. So that's give you the general gist of how the character actually plays. So they're also adding a new chaos called Laboratory Zero. This is apparently where the chaos originated from, and I'm going to assume that that is where the story is going to end up taking place. They've also showed off a number of other things, like there's new equipment sets that are going to be coming here in this update. There's going to be new monsters and new monster cards to mess around with. Right, you can take a look at these here on your screen. The one I'm very interested in here is this one here on the bottom right, Forbidden Eternal Hunger. It has Retain, Exhaust, and Response. Response triggers when the card is drawn, if I'm not mistaken. So when you draw it, you draw an additional card and get 1 AP, but then it's retained in your hand, and if you use it, it exhausts. So this kind of combos very similarly to Yuki's cards, and I think it's one that I'd be really interested to try out, because you're basically trying to figure out how can I take this card and put it back into my deck without actually playing it, so I could consistently reap the benefits of the draw and the AP gain. So honestly, I love when I see cards like this, because like the devs are really thinking about combo potential, about very unique and challenging to play deck builds, which is something I'm really looking forward to in this game, because right now we're at the very beginning of Chaos Zero Nightmare, so deck strategies are very simplistic. They're, you know, you play Calipe and you use high cost cards and it does the thing, or oh, you just play Mika and you get a bunch of AP. But like a character like Yuki and the cards like this are very interesting to me, because they let you kind of set up these very long, complicated sequences of turns that let you just play out like 10, 15, 20 cards in a row if you set it up all correctly. And that is like so satisfying for this genre. So the other piece of content that they unveiled is the Great Rift, which is essentially another type of like boss. It's a different boss that we haven't really fought before. You take 2 teams of 3, and there's 2 different phases for this. It's kind of like Basin, but it's not really, right? It's kind of, you have to do the mechanics in order to get the highest score possible, to get some exclusive rewards. And then on top of that, it will have some kind of like leaderboard. I can see if I can find it. I think I ended up passing it. There's cumulative rewards for playing it as much as possible, along with special stickers. So if you constantly are playing this mode, there are some actual rewards for it. But I know that they definitely showed off. Let me see if I can find it here. There it is, a leaderboard, right? So that way you could kind of see what other people are doing. This to me feels like a lot like Hall of Trials at Epic 7. It's a boss where you have 12 turns, which is what Hall of Trials is. It's somewhat difficult. You need a team that can kind of withstand the mechanics and then do the mechanics to get the bonuses to get the highest score possible. Like it really just feels like Hall of Trials. So I'm going to expect that you might need Yuki in order to do really well at this, because for those of you guys who like CZN and not Epic 7, Hall of Trials usually tends to favor the newest kind of gacha character, whatever that may be. And they show you like this leaderboard and like, oh, you could kind of look at it and get ideas. I have a very strong suspicion that the top 100 players will all be playing some variation of the same loadout. So I'm just temper your expectations on this one. I think that the Great Rift is a lot less enticing, a lot less interesting to me than the previous gameplay mode that they are adding to this, which is kind of like the bosses with all the different augments and things that you can kind of mess around with to make it as hard or as easy as you possibly want for additional increased challenges. And then after that, they kind of go on to talk about a bunch of free rewards, like you'll be getting, it's like 800 gems, 5 limited summons, 5 standard banner summons, you know, some prismatics, things like that, so on and so forth. And they talk about some gameplay changes, but they don't do a really good job of explaining everything like in great detail in a short amount of time. So for that, we're gonna come over here to Stove, which is the actual like main website where they distribute the news, because they do a way better job explaining all that in the developers notes, right? So I'll kind of zoom in on this a little bit so you guys can see it easier here on screen. I apologize for the flashbang. Dark mode does not work super well on Stove. If I actually were to run it, it would just cause the whole website to kind of glitch out. So again, my apologies for the flashbang in advance. So first off, Agent growth rewards are going to be increased. They recognize that it's way too hard to potential out characters, to upgrade characters, to XP characters. So what they're trying to do now is just massively increase the amount of rewards that you get for leveling up. So as you can see here now, when you hit like levels 20 and above, you'll get way more materials than you did when you leveled up originally. And also all of the event rewards will be significantly more than they were. This is kind of very akin to Epic 7. They just kind of go, oh, well, the economy in game isn't quite where we need it to be. So rather than like retroactively fixing it, we'll just make it so that just actively playing the game, all the rewards are just going to be massively, massively increased. And now you might be thinking, oh, but I'm already like level 50, right? And I already got all those rewards. Well, all this stuff is retroactive, right? You'll end up getting all of this stuff retroactively in your mailbox. So that's really, really good, right? In addition, the policy system will be improved. Rather than select the options basically solely on numerical comparisons, prototypes will now encounter new policies that offer rewards such as crystals, promotion reserves, potentials, and research rates. So this is all coming in the next thing. So this is like the policy where you choose like, oh, I get -2 happiness, but +6 economy, right? That now will have things like, oh, maybe it's like -2 economic, but you get a bunch of gems for it. Like, you know, crystals in order to summon. So they're adding more and more ways for you to get resources to roll the characters that you want, to level up, kind of to invest in the characters that you want to play. This is why when the whole business model was unveiled with 50/50, I was just super not worried when they said, oh, like the limited characters like Haru, for example, will just go into the standard banner, because they just changed it to Epic 7. And I know that this company's just very, very good at giving you a ton of resources to get the things that you need so you can play what you actually want to play, right? They also are doing improvements to the save data guide, because right now it's a complete cluster. In addition to being sick this past week, it's the main reason why I didn't even bother to try to push for level 10, because I saw other people out there that I know in the community just not having a good time with it because save data is just so RNG. As you can see here, although the lack of save data system is one of the game's core features, or I would say, although the save data system is one of the game's core features, the lack of in-game guidance has caused confusion and made progression difficult for many of our protos. With this update, we have made storable save data easier to identify and added additional help information to make the system more intuitive or easier to understand. More detailed explanations will be provided in the upcoming patches. So they're basically going to make it more transparent what will save and what won't save, like kind of, I guess, at the time that you get it. So that way you don't just like waste on maybe like a divine epiphany or like a copy card and then be like, oh shit, it didn't save. So again, they'll explain it more in the upcoming patch notes, but this is just their way of saying, hey, we know it's a frustration, a major pain point for you guys, so we're definitely going to take a look at it. The cost of codex merging will be reduced, so anybody who's like past level, 40 and into the zero system and you've been grinding it, you probably already know gold is a huge issue because it costs you like between like 45k and like 80k gold, give or take, every single time you want to play a chaos run, which is very, very bad. So you run out of gold very, very quickly. So as you can see, they are now going to be reducing the cost of it by 20% because they recognize, oh, everybody has no gold right now. The game economy is just totally screwed for everybody that's like post 50 especially, right? They have just literally no gold to do anything with. And they're also going to be giving everybody a bunch of units, so basically gold, in your mail every single day for the next 2 weeks once the patch goes live. They're also changing the UI for the memory fragment system to make it more intuitive, right? It's easier for you to kind of locate the things that you want. You know, they do this stuff all the time. If you play Epic 7, you already know they change the way things are sorted and kind of clean it up as it goes. Like every single patch, you could probably expect some kind of UI quality of life improvement. Usually, like 9 times out of 10, it's for the better. It makes the game so much simpler to play. But every once in a while, they make some baffling UI change that makes you go, huh? So we'll wait and see on this one. And then now this other one here changes to the affinity system because they recognize that affinity is way too challenging to get the characters up, especially if you're at level 50, because you already know one of the missions is get a character to level 30 affinity, which feels impossible. It feels like you just have to spend all of your kind of hangout time all of your resources on one character, and you can never, ever, ever deviate from it. Otherwise, you're never finishing those missions in any reasonable time frame. And those gate you from unlocking the next tier of missions, which has more summons, more resources, so on and so forth. Anyway, so they say here, in response, the affinity requirements for the growth guide missions will be significantly reduced this update. Furthermore, the chance of obtaining gift items during excursions will be doubled, and additional gift products will be added to the Traveler's Memory Hall shops, that's a no-no shop, to help you acquire petite stickers for your combatants more quickly and customize your save data. The affinity requirement for unlocking stickers will now be lowered to level 7, so certain rewards will be lowered. Looking ahead to December, we're preparing a messenger system where you'll be able to enjoy combatant special stories along with a commemorative in-game event. We're also working on new features such as a preferred gift system designed to help you build even deeper bonds with the combatants you like. So this is, I guess, more like in line with Nikke, where certain vouchers certain girls prefer. So that's kind of what I assume that this preferred gift system is like, right? So there you go. We're also preparing to add new features such as a quick formation system. Thank God, because it's so slow to add characters to your team, and turned indicators within battles, along with various exciting in-game events. In addition, we are developing a new permanent content mode, tentatively titled Purification Protocol, which will be available to all protos regardless of whether you're using normal or seasoned save data. Details will be revealed through the Galactic News Network once we're ready to share more information. So basically, they'll make a video on it on YouTube when it's ready. We will continue to address ongoing issues of bugs swiftly to ensure service stability. Furthermore, we are working to refine the translation quality and in-game localization so that all protos from all regions can enjoy a more natural and immersive gameplay experience. Lastly, news about Galactic Disaster Season 1 has already been shared through our latest Galactic News Network video, so we encourage you to check it out for more updates. We appreciate your anticipation, and then obviously, if you've logged into the game at all here, 300 crystals for this, and then also 300 for the video that we were looking at earlier, along with a bunch of gold. And that basically summarizes every single thing that was shown here for the first update for Chaos Zero Nightmare. Honestly, I'm pretty excited. Yuki looks like she's a blast to play. New gameplay is always good. I'm loving the game a lot. I'm still finding new synergies every single day, new different possibilities. So them adding not only a bunch of new content, but a bunch of new cards as well to the pool, and also making it easier for me to actually, you know, kind of build and flesh out my roster has me very, very excited. But yeah, that's pretty much it for everything that was covered here. Let me know down in the comments below, what's the thing you're most excited about? Which of the characters that are coming this season do you actually want to play? Is it going to be Yuki, Chizuru, or I forget me, the last girl's name always escapes me. I think it's like Saniel. But yeah, I'm very curious which girl you're actually all interested to try out. Anyways, yeah, let me know down in the comment section below. I would love to hear any and all comments. Anyways, enjoy the rest of your day, the rest of your week, and I'll catch you in the next one. Later now.